What's up, guys? All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. Hope you enjoyed a nice little 60s morning. Y'all feeling good? All right. Give me one sec. All right. So welcome, everyone. We got a busy week. This week. This week's got a lot of news coming for us. So hope you guys had an awesome weekend. You did some living. Maybe you got some nice walking in, hit some lifts, did something fun, something creative. Definitely had a very bullish crypto weekend. So you guys probably saw indices gapped up. So with FOMC week happening here, we have a lot more high impact news. CPI for several different types of countries, or interest rates for several countries. It's gonna be a good one. So with all-time highs again, we saw everything gap up. Let's see what happens. Can we see maybe a little bit of a retracement in the market? It would make sense. We've gapped up all-time highs. It's possible. We want to be patient for sure as we approach it. So I'm not going to rush into any shorts. Let's let the market give us any signs. And if we do see something, I'll probably be more conservative anyways. And then I'll get a bit more, not, I guess, aggressive, but I'll get more, I'll let some trades run further if we get into a nice buy sometime maybe midweek. Maybe it could be FOMC that gives us a nice drop. So, yeah, let's dive into it. If you guys get my newsletter, then you should have gotten it already this morning. I'm seeing here in the chat. I think Seth mentioned it. So what's up, everyone? What's up, Jesus? Harshi, how you doing? Got Seth and Amy. Is that Lloyd? What's up, Sensei? What's up? What's up, CJ? Good to see you, man. Patrick, James, Luis, Joe, Filmowit. What up, Dan? What's up, Corey? Yeah, all right. So, okay, let's do it. Let's get in here. Morning. What's up, Marta Lisa? Brandon, Corey, Noah. Okay, so as you guys can see, NQ is on the rise, man. No chill whatsoever. I'm based on what we're seeing immediately with NASDAQ, just where it's at just this week, gapping up and could just consistently progressing upwards. This is very smooth price action. Of course, at some point, I'm definitely under the impression that we're going to see the market get back to this level, maybe even bounce. But right now, there's absolutely no confirmation to get any sells. We don't see any sort of, big liquidity sweep, so no elimination of retail money. Not really any signs of big buy orders here that could lead to reversals either. So for now, with NQ, chilling. What I'll add is I'll go a little bit into the gap up and what happened prior to that. So as you can see, we're moving sideways the last few hours on Friday. We start to see the market crash down to here before it moves sideways and then just gaps up. So maybe the market would want to kind of reverse off of this move. Doesn't look too great on NASDAQ specifically. We kind of have some equal lows. It's pretty sideways. Maybe YM, maybe Dow looks a little different. But, yeah, for now, we just let this thing keep going. Been pretty aware of not getting in the way of these shorts for the last week or so. And the buy setup that still looks solid is over here from Friday pre-New York Open. had a nice little push down, and then the market just pumped and has rallied. So considering we have this liquidity sweep, few hours worth of liquidity, and then the continuation, there's a possibility we see a good reversal out of here. Of course, we're going to keep in mind what's going on with Dow and S&P as well. But this is kind of the first zone that interests me. Of course, trading into this gap makes sense. So if we are to get a setup, we would need to see something, we either build up some more, then maybe we clear this out. Getting a strong, close below would be great. Maybe a shakeout, but this would be a preferred. And then we can kind of work this into this gap. Something like that would be nice. Otherwise, we will, we'll wait for the market to get here however it gets here, and then we'll start looking for more buy positions. But for now, this is some pretty decent setups. Now to zoom out significantly more, though, the structure, you have the 4 hour, like your big picture here. This is the zone now that we're really operating out of. More likely than not is from this low. Considering we already broke down into here, there is a more imbalance, but S&P and Dow Jones are already really efficient down here. So the big, if we're to get the retracement for another swing, it would be over here. So really our low was from the 17th, and then we've rallied for the last 10 days or so. So now, at some point, I don't think it doesn't have to be right now. Probably won't be. I feel like it's too early in the week to start getting big reversals. A lot of people are going to want these reversals right away, especially if they held shorts over. This is liquidating a lot of sellers. So I'm patient for whenever this drops. I'm sure we get some reversals out of these zones before we get the big swing down from here. So that's just so you're aware. Yes, at some point we probably get further down into the 25,000s, 100s, and then getting into this zone again below 24,600. This would probably be a brief moment, just kind of how we saw the market barely operate out of here. That's it. So I know some of you were looking for, long-term shorts. Some of you wanted to see, this crash back down, way down here. As I mentioned, this did not look like a distribution to me on the higher time frame. It looked like a reaccumulation. And I think Bitcoin is going to do something similar too. So right now, no trades yet. We stay relatively laid back with this so far. That's NQ. If we look at S&P 500, same. It's actually been more sideways over here. We saw a big push down, liquidity, so sideways movement, and then the market gaps up 45 points, which is significant. And then we, right now we're just moving sideways. So no motive for sells. We have liquidity here. Like I mentioned, all what we could see here could be a clean sweep above this, clearing out retail sellers. Maybe only if we end up, quickly dropping back in, creating just more liquidity, or if we break below and sustain structure, only then. But right now I don't have it. And could the market drop? Sure, it could drop off first, but I don't have any confirmation for that either. So I wouldn't pursue a short right now. It would be more of a gamble than it would be a trade with an edge. So now, similar to NQ, I see the drop down, the sweep of this liquidity before the reversal. So can we get something here? Maybe. And to add on Friday, got a little reversal here. So it did go our way for a 2.5R before the continuation. Not sure if anyone took home a intraday short here or you're waiting for more. I was a bit more aggressive. I wanted this imbalance fill. Didn't give it to me, though. Don't you think it's overpriced? Define overpriced. Yeah, define overpriced. Is it because it's at the highs? I mean, yeah, I mean, give me more context on what you mean. Of course, I would always rather take positions lower for buys, naturally. But if a setup is there, I'm going to take it. I mean, look at how many times has this happened. You have the market break above. You can see it rally for a couple days. The market breaks above, a good pullback, and then you get all of this. The market breaks above, and then just like it did on Friday, it did all of that. So I don't necessarily need to buy anything in here. I'm definitely more open to waiting for deeper pullbacks. I'm just responding to whatever the market shows, to be honest. But yeah, buys. If there's buys up in this range from the gap, it would be a very, very conservative take profit. Yeah, for sure, super conservative take profit. By no means am I looking to have like swing trades or anything like that. If we get shorts, yeah, I'm definitely down to trade this into the gap, into imbalance. Super open to that. I just want the setup first. Buenos días, ¿qué tal, Alfredo, Lucio? All right, now Dow is giving us a little bit more bearish price action to start the week. After it gapped up, it's definitely struggled to go higher. So if you look at NQ keeps pushing upwards while Dow is maintaining within this structure. And even this, like, I wouldn't look for buys after the market fills these gaps. Whenever that happens, doesn't have to be today, but the buys just aren't there. So I have no desire to take any positions in buys with this gap. Could it play out? Maybe. But I just don't really see a reversal. Like, yeah, we pushed down, but even then, this is already really bullish, and this is still looking more flat than it is like a sell-off with a huge reversal. So I'm okay with maybe missing out on a reversal out of here. It just doesn't have the same kind of move that I typically would want to see. So, yeah, right now, we have New York open here in less than 90 seconds. Let's see what happens. Do we get a gap up? Do we just pop up, liquidate, and then short? We'll see. So while we have our indices chart there pulled up, let's take a look at a couple other things. So we have the majors, right? So these are an Australian USD. This is, there's a lot going on over here. And it gapped up over the week as well, similar to others, and just kept pushing higher. So this has brought us now, and this is, I wanted to talk about this. This is perfect. We had a couple different options, right? Last week we talked about how the market gapped up to here, took out retail sellers, took out liquidity. So beautiful sell-off. Didn't get triggered in, so I can just delete this here. And then I talked about last week how on Friday we could see a shakeout. So the market did not have any business up here, no demand. Everything crashed back down. The issue that I have is that when the market actually ended up breaking below, this still didn't really create a lot of demand, so everything came right back up. So are we going to get a sell right out of here and just continue to work it down, or do we trade it into here? Now looking for a trade over here. So there's a couple things, right? I'm looking for a buy from this low, right down here. And there's a couple other setups that, I thought, okay, this is going to be the one. But instead, now the pound, it's going to depend on, like, at what tempo we get down here. Like, where's the rest of the market looking like? But originally, I wanted to sell on GBP, probably somewhere in this zone where we've seen some resistance before. So could we get a nice another push higher before we see a sell with pound? And that would be selling this, because this is a giant move. A huge push up here. This thing is just absolutely goes crazy. So before we get a big reversal out of this, I think we can get another sweep of these highs. It's possible. Now I wouldn't get into this. But we can see a push up here and then a drop. But I would be looking for that if pound is kind of the slowest on the way up. Like you saw Australian just going crazy. Pound is slowly moving upwards. CAD futures making its way up. This is what I'm talking about. Euro already cleared these highs and then traded into this imbalance. Pound hasn't quite done that. See that? All right. So yen came up to there, gapped. And then here's NZD as well. So it was between the pound and NZD. So let me just show you price action, so just so you guys can make a better decision. You know, you can understand my point of view here. Now here's a couple minutes after New York Open, really mellow price action. We're not getting anything crazy over here. Yen, or not the yen, Dow filling in some of this imbalance before moving downwards. Cool. I'm not looking to sell that, but we are seeing a big spike up that takes out liquidity before it drops. And this plays into London session. So if this stays, and I guess I'll look over here, but if this stays really bearish and maintains these lows, then I'm open to looking for sells somewhere up here. If that's not the case, if it doesn't stay bearish, then that's not going to be something I look for. So I'll go back to that here in a second. But to continue with what I was saying with currencies. All right, so take a look at how the pound moves and then take a look at how NZD moves. You have the huge push up here. Takes out tons of liquidity. So we get everyone's just done here. Swept. Great. Comes crashing back down. Fails to sustain lower lows. And then the market starts to rally back up here. Okay. And if we want to understand the pullback, the depth of these retracements, then fantastic. Here is Fibonacci to help. So we pulled back in between the 618 and the 786, right around a little under a 70% pullback. And then we have NZD, right? NZD also massive pump above these highs. We get above here. This high takes out this zone as well. So look at this. Like you can't even see that here. It just takes out all of this way up here. Way over there. So anyways, we get that huge spike. It comes crashing down here. This also doesn't really make lower lows, but the market has been very slow in pulling back. So slow that if we look at Fibonacci, you can see the retracement right now for NZD has been super slow. All right, what's up, Pierre? Been at a funeral this morning. Nearly missed my first session of the year. Yeah, man. My condolences, brother. I know that's never easy. I'm glad that you were able to leave them a memento, man. That's really cool. So, yeah, you guys can see the difference here. The market with NZD has been a very, very slow move. Starting to trend downwards. I think we go up another notch. So I think we continue to push higher. And then if we get back up to here with NZD, here's where I'm open to selling. We've seen a lot of reversals out of this area in the past. So I think that's what we can get here. And on top of that, if we start to draw out this trend line, we could see NZD is starting to to kind of squeeze. So buyers are starting to get lured into the zone, just as sellers are also starting to squeeze here. So I think that's kind of what I'm seeing. Let me go back here to Dow Jones. Right, here's where we had New York Open pumped up, came down, pumped up again, crashed, immediately came right back up. So, don't really love any of this. When the market, clears these highs and comes down to here, great. But when the market comes instantly right back up 60 points, I'm just not really a big fan of this super quick movement. It's not convincing me on structure. S&P right now still in consolidation. And then, okay, so now NASDAQ. NASDAQ has flipped a little bit. All right, so here we have NASDAQ. What did NASDAQ do on the open? Takes out the highs. All right, takes out these highs here. Works down to this. All right, so we break below here. But as of right now, when the market gets below but immediately comes right back in, that's not a break of structure for me. That's not giving me the confirmation that we're in a new trend, that the market that there's more sellers that are looking to pick price at this point or lower. Not seeing that yet. When the market gets down to here and it comes right back in, it's not giving me confirmations that confirm that these are fair prices. So as of now, I still stay out of the market for across the board. So I know, we get the especially when it does this fast right to kick things off. I think it's very easy to want to follow that initial push, especially since it's so high up. It's like, oh, great. It's showing me we're about to sell off. We're going to go fill the gap. People, hear about that. Like, oh, market loves to fill gaps. And then they tend to chase that. And so does it? For sure. It does fill gaps. But does it do it right away? Not necessarily. So I am not taking this. I'm not selling anything here. I'm good. I will keep waiting. And then, so right now it does seem to me like seeing the market come back into here, fill this imbalance, and then sell off, that makes a lot more sense. So I'll add an alert to this trend line. I don't necessarily know how long it could take to get there. And then if it breaks these highs for NZD as well, I'll be paying attention to this. Now, the other thing we can consider is, okay, well, are there buy setups for pairs, like one of these dollar pairs? They're really bullish to start the week off. Is there, a buy that we're missing out on somewhere over here? We saw Australian kind of crash, and then after this Friday crash, it gapped above the high, and now it's trading up here. So do we have a potential buy scenario here with AUD, or maybe it's something else? So the low here, this push down clears out some lows, and then it continues. Okay. Started a pretty aggressive move downwards. Took out liquidity, and then the market just, keeps pushing. All right. So there's a little something going on here. You have an imbalance over here, so there could be a buy scenario here. Okay, let's take a look at other ideas. We talked about how the pound did not make higher highs, so the buys don't really make sense there yet. CAD futures. Okay, so this is different. CAD definitely traded above the highs over here. And then when it came crashing down, CAD also went below a lot more than the Australian did for sure. Traded below a couple of Thursdays low, Wednesdays, trading into the imbalance from Tuesday, and then rallied. Okay. So we did get above this. We see here Friday push down, and then the market right now is currently retracing towards this. So could this be a clean setup? Right now we're not quite at that 38.2 pullback. Australian over here, more bullish by a long shot. We're not even at a 23.6 pullback, so very mellow pullback on Australian. Right now, if I was going to want to buy something, I would want to wait for whatever's kind of the more slowly working its way down. So I'd be looking for, at the moment, Australia looks significantly cleaner. The yen still pushing lower. And then Swiss franc just kind of chopping, consolidating. So what's furthest from sells, honestly, is like NZD, possibly the yen as well, that could trade way up here. So between most of these, yeah, I would say Australian right now is very slow. I'm working its way down, gap, filling the gap over here. So I'm leaning more towards Australian buys right now too. And then if we go here, like if you just want to look, there's been some common areas for reversals within this zone. So right around like 65.03, 65.05, you get like reversals pretty commonly over here. 65.07, here reversal, 06, 06, 06, 06. 08 to the downside, bounces to the upside around 04. So once we get above these levels, 03. So the market playing into this area has historically liked to reverse like in this little imbalance pocket. So something like this, I like a setup. Run an 886 pullback. Looks valid to me. And then right now, we have liquidity here. I don't know if we're going to come back for that or not yet. Maybe we have this later. But if that was the case, then does this make sense? Does taking this trade all the way over here make sense? Or would we come back down further? We shall see. This could be a great risk-reward trade. That'd be a 6R. Would depend on what else is happening. But the most conservative exit here, here's where we had a lot of consolidation and then the continuation. So seeing the market play back over here. This is very likely, if everything stands the way that it is right now, with Australian being the slowest to work its way down, I could see this. So let's get some setups going for today. October 27, 2025. We have 6A. So that's AUD, USD. And here's a little chart. All right, here's the first one. By the way, if you guys are in the Chicagoland area, we are going to get together this Saturday. So for a couple hours. So if y'all want to pull up, let us know. I'll give another reminder throughout the week as well. So we're in there. So here's the setup. All right, NQ. So at this point, you guys have seen NQ's gone, cracked below, came back up, came back down, came back up. I have zero interest in selling. There's now no strong confirmation for me here. This looks like it cleans the liquidity, sweeping and trading into London imbalance, not even clearing, obviously, London lows or Asian lows or anything yet. So, yeah, not doing anything there. S&P, nothing. And then, I mean, Dow is different, right? Dow is now, I know I wanted to possibly sell up here somewhere, but because of how choppy this has been, didn't go ahead and do that. And we've worked our way lower now. So now we're spending more and more time in this area, getting back into, in the gap, getting closer to structure, but yeah, still nothing I would take here. Nah, it's just not. This is not it for me. Here's a 15-second chart. So here's New York open, goes higher, drops, pumps higher again. This doesn't take out any liquidity. Crashes, comes back down. It looks like we mitigate the buy here. Market drops again. But now that it's pushed below where we had some consolidation during London and Asian lows here. So we take these out and we play into this level. And we come right back in. So are we set up for reversals from here? Maybe. Not that I would buy, but yeah, I'm not convinced on anything with indices. So staying out of there, and that's fine. Remember, staying out of the market is more than okay. In the meantime, we're having metals crash, and we got a great reversal out of this zone, which of course didn't trigger any alerts for me both times. So we had the buy play out of here on Sunday Asian session. So this gave a clean 320 pips. So I guess I didn't set alerts for any gold setups for whatever reason. Played out of this zone as well. This also pushed for 200, almost 300 pips as well. So both setups really, really clean. And then, we weren't looking for entries really with silver, since silver was just dropping more aggressively. It's been good reversals out of these buy zones, but they're not sustainable. These have been solely to push to create short term. So now the question is, okay, is there another area where buys could look good, which I have down over here for gold. So in this zone, especially where we've seen a lot of support in the past over here, is where I think we can get some clean gold buys out of this area. And I will be also just showing you guys where silver's at. So right now, gold is trading at where we've been last Wednesday. If you look at silver is below all of that. Silver's already trading below last Wednesday. It's within this giant wick from Tuesday. Back to gold. Similar, right? Not quite below Wednesday's price action, but Tuesday's giant wick also wasn't was this low as well. So for me, this looks like kind of more of a buildup of liquidity, and I think we go further down. And how far down we go, I think it comes down all the way here. When this is a drop from October 2nd. Thursday, October 2nd. If you look at that with silver, that would be trading down into this area as well. So I'm going to be just aware of where we're at when we get to these zones for both. At the moment, it seems like gold has a better chance at sustaining this level. And for all we know, this might be just a quick crack below this. So if the market were to do something like this, it briefly breaks into this zone and then comes right back in, that's still a sign that the market may want to, to rally and fill some of this somewhere here. It's possible. If it does this, then, okay, gold stays bullish. If it cracks below and maybe it bounces like this, but then we keep trading lower. So here are the options, I guess, if you will. It clears this 1 hour structure, but comes right back in. So it's just a liquidity event. Great. Or option B is that it clears these lows. So we'll just say like this. It clears the lows, comes back in, but then doesn't have enough. There's not enough bullish demand. There's more bearish. And the market then just like stays trading low. And then we just keep going lower. So these are kind of the two ways that this can turn out. So how it reverses out of the zone and what kind of demand we get, that's pretty important. So 3R I think is possible. Probably closer to a 2R is more likely. This kind of takes care of both options, whether it continues to rally or not. So in that scenario, getting into here, this is where I would take partials, because you can kind of go either way, because you would be breaking a higher time frame structure, at least briefly. And then if it only gives you this much, cool, you take home, I don't know, 1 hour or something. But if it keeps going, then you can ride out a trade for like a 10R. And so, yeah, that's why you have kind of different ways to approach this scenario. All right, so there's gold, and then let me go ahead and post this over here. All right, here's gold. So here we got GC. All right, let's go back. What are indices doing? So, yep, we saw it, cleared this, decided to rally. Are all indices moving in together? Yes, they are. Okay. So like I mentioned, we had the liquidity capture filling that gap. We came back up here. Market not necessarily wanting to stay below here. Now it pushes up above this on the 1 minute. I am leaning more towards the market continuing its rally, continuing into price discovery. We saw Dow earlier didn't really push higher at all during Asian and London, while we saw NQ and S&P push higher. So maybe we start to get Dow to pick up that momentum and start to push like that. I would say buying here, I feel like we're going to go higher, but I don't have confirmation to go with indices, like a specific setup. It would be more so like, here's just what I feel, which I wouldn't say is a plan by any means. And then, okay, if we wanted to zoom in a little bit more with metals, I know we got a lot of gold traders here. How would we get into sells? So let's say maybe the market does want to reverse here. Is there a chance to sell something in here? I don't really see it, honestly. Like, gold here, borderline takes, I mean, it does go like 10 pips above, but not really anything for me. Here's more liquidity. Yeah, no real setup. We'd have to clear liquidity somewhere. We'd have to get a new price action so that I would get into shorts. with gold. With silver, same thing, honestly. Actually, maybe not. So there's a couple things here. A couple interesting things. Silver definitely created this here. Anyone that shorted in here, just following trend line, living their good lives. The last push that we saw here was silver just like an hour ago. Yeah. Makes a push up here. Takes out not even really too much liquidity. It's just one big move up. And then it doesn't even take these highs out. Just drops. So maybe there's a sell out of here, but you still have liquidity over here. So it's not like this is still happening. So I don't think this would last. I'm not going to consider this something yet. We'll see what structure looks like over here first, and then I'd have to come back to this. But I'll add a little. I'll do this, though. I'm not going to mark it up. I'm not going to send anything, but I'll have an alert here. Okay, those are the metals. Now I know we're missing still oil. We're missing a little bit more. So what's on your radar? I know you guys posted some things, so I'll go ahead and look into that here in a second. We got oil. Over here, our shorts from oil worked out to perfection, except for the fact that it wasn't perfect because it came back to take me out, and then it's proceeded to drop for a 8.5 R, filled in the imbalance. Great. Honestly, I wouldn't have taken a buy here. So that's interesting how that played out. Imbalance fill and then rally. But so what does this show us? The drop down to here. This drop into here, this cleared tons of buyers. So I think it looks better on the 1 hour more than likely. Yeah. So this is what we consider a reaccumulation or the beginning of that sign, which is it looks like, oh, it takes out the highs. Now it's breaking this low. Okay, it's a lower low. Now we're going to sell off and we're going to go all the way down to here. This is what a Wyckoff distribution kind of will look like if you don't understand context. I think this is going to fail, and then we're going to push up to here. My thoughts are this does not do, not this, no. This maybe goes like here. We come back down, and then we push up to here. Why? I think this happens because this was so brief. There was the drop was not in demand. So look at it like this. Our final push down starts up here. You come crashing down. The market, excuse me. The market works its way down during London. We trade here for a bit. We're moving sideways. And then off it goes. So we're only down here for like less than just about 2 hours. But then we're immediately flying back up into these key areas. So we just don't sustain this price for even during the same session. So to me, it looks like we end up creating London lows here. Then the market now is rallying. And with everything happening here, I don't see verifying that I'm human. Okay, cool. So let's look at the week. We don't have more dollar news until FOMC. And then looks like Friday's data, this has been moved again. So a lot of shuffling things around. We could be seeing something added from the past. I think PPI is set for next week too. All that delayed information. No. Where'd it go? They moved that again, huh? And then NFP maybe next Friday. Back to back? This is a mess. So it looks like we're going to see, I'm pretty sure this was October's NFP we get this week, this Friday. And then we get November's NFP like a few days after that. Wild. So anyways, with oil, since price came down to here, and then we traded here for a bit, but you can see that price quickly moved its way out, and then now we're trading above these levels. So now we're starting to get above this structure. This isn't really giving me a bearish confirmation whatsoever. Within the same session, we're already trading up here. I think that we eventually work our way back down, and I'm going to put an alert here so that we can look for buys and keep pushing forward. So, yeah, I'm going to give you guys the 1 hour chart. I think this gives a bit of a better setup. And then I'll label this here as well. So this looks like, to me, this looks like failed distribution. AKA reaccumulation setup. So that's like this idea in general, like here. I used to have like actually a whole bunch of little squares like this, but how do I want to? Yeah, well, that's fine. So yeah, that I think would take us way up here, where this is where we're waiting for a sell, right? Somewhere in this zone, especially like way up here. I think we can get our way up there. And then, I mean, yeah, this kind of setup, I mean, this could be a pretty big trade. This could set you up for, depending on what kind of trading account you have, 9R. And then to refine the entry, yes, it would be somewhere in this imbalance where we've seen some support, resistance here. Even here, you've seen quite a bit of support. So if you wanted to take it a little bit higher, I would get it too. But yeah, so here's the setup. And now we wait. So here's oil. Looks like indices are running. So CL oil. Now let me get the chart here. All right, now that's saved too. Okay, so yeah, indices have pushed further along, or at least Dow Jones has. There we go. S&P clearing liquidity now. NQ also pushing higher. All right, looks good. Now we're in a position where, okay, what if the market, takes out these highs, and then now they want to get reversals? That's possible. I think we see Dow probably clear these highs first, though. So, yeah, for now, chilling. Is there a setup, though? Could there be a setup that we're looking for here with indices now for buys or anything like that? You could argue, maybe you could argue NQ here. You see a little push down. Now we're trading. This is 15-second time frame, but you see a little push down and the rally. Again, we are playing in dangerous territory. Not really dangerous, but like we've been at these levels for some time. We're way up in this range. So looking to buy, obviously, the market, big picture, is probably going to prefer a giant reversal. There is a lot of a lot of money is made if the market crashes below trading below London session, Asian session, gapping. Like, you have all of this, right? There's a lot of money to be made if it just clears all of these buyers. So buying up in this range, not necessarily in your favor for the most part, especially if this, higher high is just really brief. Wouldn't recommend it if we don't get like just super solid confirmation. So at this moment, for the most part, I would just stay out of the markets. All right, peso, cool. We saw a nice rally with altcoins. Ski here got actually traded right back up into my entry zone. Originally, this is losing tons of momentum again, but that's pretty typical. This is extremely volatile. So, if you guys are doing the crypto challenge, basically we were right back at entry. Right now we're sitting back down like 13%, 15% drawdown. Either way, my exit doesn't really change. I'm still looking to take this back up here. So I'm not necessarily too concerned there. Bitcoin traded at it here already. Have a lot of imbalance left for Bitcoin to go rally into. So I think we're going to see that actually. Of course, the gap with indices were to be expected because of all of the movement we saw with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was super bullish all weekend, and then markets open and everything kept pushing higher. So Bitcoin, in my opinion, has a pretty textbook play for a continuation here. So this may drop down to like 113,400, 113,300 or so, and then we can see this thing to rally again. Structure looks solid, so it can sustain that. ETH might go below for a bit. We'll see. Okay. And then regarding, I guess I'll keep the crypto thing going here for a second longer. But yeah, you're starting to see things pick up. I posted about virtuals yesterday and how it's just been an absolute rampage. But you know what coin woke up? Is GME crypto. It's been down crazy. Don't get me wrong. Like crazy. But so a lot of these meme stocks, meme cryptos are kind of rallying. The base coins have had a really good push over the weekend. Jupiter as well. Good recovery. But definitely at least what caught my attention was virtual. Virtual is absolutely on another level. So just in the since Wednesday, this has gone up 128%. So if you guys notice, look at price action here. This traded way back into like July price action versus literally everything else is still recovering from the drop that we saw October 10th. Remember that Friday, like a couple Fridays ago? Yeah, so this is like the one coin that is responding better than everything else. Literally nothing else is trading higher than Friday's crash for the 10th. Like not one, at least nothing that I'm following. So yeah, things on a mission. Jupiter, good rally now as well. ETH rallying decently. And then Bitcoin as well, not quite there yet. Because Bitcoin was trading way up in like the 120s before that happened. Because Bitcoin was the one that took the biggest hit, to be honest. So anyway, so what does that mean for you? What that means is, at least when I look at this, if we get reversals back into this range, looking at like below 105, $1, 80, like if we get back into this range, I feel pretty solid that we'll be able to recover this again aggressively. So, and you guys can go do your own research, but this is typically a good sign when one gets the lead on the rest of the market. Then there was a higher higher like a narrative and impact news that came into specifically with AI agents. I think this was a rally based off of what Coinbase introduced regarding AI agents. So I think for virtual being an AI agent ecosystem took a big pump with that. Now stocks wise, but you're seeing this Webull resurgence right now. So another almost 3% on the day. Actually, it was 3% earlier. Solid. UPS, healthy gains here. So we're up, actually right around here. About 6%. Can't be mad about it. Intel back at 40. So recovering Friday's drop. Pump and then drop. Tesla continuing. Etsy still pushing along, man. Here we go. Next stop with Etsy is approaching the 90s. And then there's earning reports this week. So in 2 days, you have Google earning reports. Meta has this earning report also in 2 days. Who else has earning reports? Uber next week. Nvidia in like 3 weeks. Microsoft in 2 days as well. So if we look at price action with these some of the biggest companies in the world. So you can look at the market cap stocks. All right. So, clearly Nvidia has the lead. So next week we have Microsoft, Google, Meta. So 3 of the top 6. And then I didn't check Amazon. Amazon in 3 days. So Google, Meta, Microsoft in 2, Amazon in 3. That's 4 of the 6. And then you have Apple in 3 days. So 5 of the 6 have earnings reports this week on top of FOMC. Meanwhile, Apple is sitting at all-time highs. Amazon is not too far from all-time highs. We're talking about 6% away from all-time highs over here. I don't see selling opportunities with Amazon yet. Microsoft as well. You guys are seeing this is at almost all-time highs, 4% away there as well. Here we gapped up, lost quickly, ate that up, tried to go lower low, failed at doing so. So as I see this, no evidence yet for me for shorts on any of these. And then here's Google again making all-time highs for like the millionth time. So maybe earnings reports take us higher and we see a totally different setup. Like maybe that is what can create a setup. And then you have as well. So what's interesting is FOMC lines up exactly with the earning report. So one can be a catalyst for the other. We may see FOMC. Wait, what time did these drop? Let's see. Is it Wednesday, like 3:15? What the fuck? That does nothing for me. Here we go. 29th of October, 5:30 p.m. 5:30 on whose time, though? I feel like, Seth, I'm waiting on you to give me the time. All right. After close. Okay, this will be fun. So then we'll either see end of day, Wednesday end of day, maybe post trading hours. I know depending, I'd have to double check, but yeah, it's gonna be hectic. So we're gonna see definitely Nasdaq, Dow, all of it is gonna be just wild. And so Wednesday, I would say be very intentional with your stop loss. Be very intentional with your contract sizes, your lot sizes. It'll be a volatile second half of this session is what I'm expecting. Okay. Lulu, another 4% on the day. Let's go. All right. So our dollar cost average has us sitting at around 13, 14%. Yeah. You guys feeling good on Lulu? Who was able to dollar cost average in with us? If you guys were in the exchange or just through here, we have communicated our dollar cost entries here with Lululemon. Let's see. Okay, Intel. Where is it? Where was it last time? So it's been a minute, huh? Here we go. Lulu in DCA zone. Got a beautiful drop in our zone, starting to buy into Lulu, but won't go into heavy until we get to 156, which is true. That's exactly how it went. So for me, still, because we were sitting in here for a while, honestly, like I did end up picking up a decent amount, but nothing too crazy. All right, silver alert going off here. Let's go check that out. All right, so silver's still pushing lower. Metals. So now, okay, cool. So silver is now trading into this imbalance, which I had talked about. This was that October 2nd drop, that Thursday, where we had a huge sell-off with metals. Now, all right, hold on. Nance had such a good exit on this Beyond one. Didn't marry it. Got in, got out. All right, let's go pull up silver here. So silver's in that imbalance from October 2nd, that Thursday. Gold pushing down, but nowhere near these levels. It's in this choppy zone. And this is still further away, right? We're looking at another like 800 plus pips that gold would have to travel. So I'm not going to get in the way of the market. That's a huge range that if you keep just taking shots at gold because, it's already dropped some, maybe I'll just catch the reversal. If you're just trading out of pure like hope, is how you get in trouble. So don't trade your feelings. Don't trade what you think should happen. Just trade what the market's telling you is happening. Okay, so indices here, guys. We saw a nice push up. This thing is dropping way back down quickly. S&P as well. And then we have Dow just not as aggressively dropping. But, yeah, I just have no desire to be in buys way up here right now, especially with this failing to sustain these highs. So take a look at this, right? We have liquidity sweep. The market came back in. So this does not give us good confirmation for a higher high for bullish structure. Of course, we're filling in balance right now with Dow Jones. Same thing is happening with NASDAQ. And this is the zone that I mentioned. We could get reversals out of this area if the 1 minute, if we get a decent enough structure. We only really traded up here for about 10 minutes. So buying 50 points lower than all-time highs with NQ, especially considering the very little demand that existed when we did break above, yeah, not screaming, hey, high probability trade for me. It did react well, though. So the mitigation is done. If you did take this, then my stop would be at entry, because now you saw the reversal. Right? This is like a 16.5 point reversal. Instantly jumps 21 points. So, okay, if you did take this, you saw this is the exchange from sellers to buyers. Would not want to keep any risk on the table with something like this. If anything, I think we're starting to see a potential setup on S&P as well. S&P here, we saw the clearance of these highs. So you see a nice move up right there. Clean move to the upside. Right, it starts right there at 6886.25. Clears all of that, then drops. So if we can sustain this, if we can even go actually make lower lows, then we could possibly see a distribution for shorts on S&P here. But for now, still not set, right? I'm letting the market, it's got to prove it, right? Prove it to me. I think one thing that I see too many traders do is, I don't know if it's a perspective thing, but it's like you should let the market show you its hand instead of trying to guess what it wants to do. Like if you give the market enough time, sometimes sure you can be too patient where you're just waiting for like every single perfect market condition ever to make a decision. But if you already have a system that you know works, then you just got to let the market show you that specific setup. Sometimes it doesn't happen in the first hour that you're looking at the market or the first two, but it eventually starts to give more and more signs that it could. So you set your alerts, and then when that's all said and done, then you execute. But it's like the market, it should feel like this. The market is auditioning for you. That's what it should feel like. The market, whoa, what's going on over here, man? This camera looking crazy. I wonder if I can change the setting from here. Oh, this is so bright. Give me a sec. But yeah, I wonder if, think about it this way. The market should feel like it's auditioning for you, not the other way around. That's how I would approach this. Like, let it prove itself to you. It's fighting to be on your roster. Like, the setup is your opportunities are qualifying for you, not the other way around. Similar with Dow, right? Dow here took out that New York high again. So we just saw it right here. Dow has a similar perspective as S&P right there. So here's where it starts, right? Fails. And then here you get the last push up before it drops. So we'll see. Here's what I would want. I would want price to go further from our zone first, and then we can get something like this maybe later on. Not necessarily in a rush for all of this to happen. Okay. So, yeah, at this point, still seeing metals drop. We might see Bitcoin go lower. We have this marked up here as well. So maybe we get down to here at some point today. I'll add this to our zones. Here's Bitcoin. There's BTC. All right. Yeah, so be ready. Big week ahead. FOMC, we got interest rates dropping. At this point, it's the way I look at it, we're probably just going to keep working our way down. Interest rates should just kind of keep dropping throughout the next couple months. Should usually, if borrowing is cheap, markets go up. Within the day, obviously, there's fluctuations, but macro, typically bullish, as long as you don't get eaten up during those short-term drops. And then, but yeah, we have it a bit with everything else. So, yeah, stay on the lookout. There's a CPI for Australia tomorrow. And then you have CAD is going to be releasing rates. The yen is going to be releasing rates. Euro is releasing rates. It's going to be a busy week, and that may reflect with everything. So stay on the lookout here in the community. If you guys have setups you want me to look at, let me know as well. Market is the ocean, and we're the surfers. I agree. I could not agree more. 1,000%. So let me see if there's any setups that you guys shared in here that maybe I didn't see. What's up, Joseph? Katia. Got Juan in here. Okay. Let's see. Maybe in here. Nope. All right. So it looks like no setups from anybody. I did have you guys drop your setups for the week yesterday, so I'll take a look at these. Let's see. Alfredo sent a USD CAD chart. Here looking for buys after it came up. So then this is looking for shorts on, let's see, maybe this already played out though. Where did you, so let's see, USD, oh, okay, so I wonder if it stayed in your zone. Or it took you out. Yeah, look at that. Damn, that sucks. Went right below. And here's the thing, though. Like, that's why I say the correlation is important. So tienes que estar consciente de la correlación. Nat Gas gave some shorts. I've just stayed away from natural gas. In here, off the open of the week. Oh yeah, okay. See it. USDJPY over here. Yeah, that one's still pending. S&P. What's that mean? All right, so it came right back up again. I'd rather wait. Oh, so the NQ buy pushing. But Dow trading down here. Interesting. All right, NZD, USD. Esta sí me gusta, bro. Esta sí la estoy esperando. So yeah, I'm waiting on this one too. US 30. Okay, I can see that. Nice. Swiss. Nah, this one I don't really care for. An imbalance, but this looks like liquidity. We'll get on that one. Buy on oil. Would be great. Here, I don't really see this setup, though. Yeah, this one doesn't really make sense to me. I see imbalances. Here, sure, I guess you get a little short, but there's not really there's no like liquidity capture by any mean. I would be chilling. I wouldn't pursue that one. And then I know Syndicate had some here as well. All right, so with MNQ and YM, we've hit all-time highs on Friday overall. I'm bullish on indices, but we should get a correction soon. Have potential buy zone for both. Won't be looking for any shorts till New York Open gives us something different. All right, Edwin, let's see it. Way down here. Yeah, I can see that. This was 17 hours ago, so. Okay, yeah, these are similar. Metals looking for buys, but want for both gold and silver to see liquidity before taking off. We'll be taking the laggard. All right, yeah, same zones. Look at that, Edwin. We're on it. Should have shorted, right? All right. Oh, this is an even lower zone. Interesting. Okay. Oil bullish looking for buys of a zone, but there's a wick. Way down here. So this is the one I'm not sure about because I saw this come in and out. So I'm curious about this here. But a bigger stop. Okay, that makes sense why. I could see it. Big picture, I do like the buys on oil. If we get down here, it's a matter of when, right? I see it. Keep me posted with this one. You were looking to short in here? See, I wasn't because we already had failed demand. Like we failed the lower low. So this one I wasn't so convinced on. This zone I do have pending. Yeah, right in that 121 area, 122. That zone I like. CAD. Yeah, based on the pullback, how we see that one. Yeah, good setups. Good stuff there. Just mentioned to Joe that based on how crypto performed over the weekend and with progress in the U.S. and China trade talks, that we could see indices gap. And boy, did we. Yeah, for sure. For the week, I do still see some bullish momentum with potential rates cuts, but all that could be derailed by a setback by the trade talks or earnings from Meta, Google, and Amazon. Agreed. Same. Good stuff there, Seth. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is the depth. This is the depth that I want to see. Waiting and watching price action from London. Yeah, that's seeing if we get that too. I like Dow shorts, though, here soon. Dow's holding up solid. NQ mitigation just ripping. Whereas Dow's chilling. Sarah, what you got? UCAT 4 hour. Did it get there? I don't think it got low enough for you. Maybe. Tapped right into structure. Not quite down here, though. I think you're going to have to keep waiting there. I'm sure it will at some point. Yeah, I think I have a similar setup, but over here on futures. Yeah. All right, that's a good chart, Amy. Or not Amy, Sarah. Okay. Continuation for the upside after some retracement after the gap high into further all-time highs. If invalidated by my POI, this is what I look for, lower movement. Okay. feel like, Luis, you might have caught this one right now. Yeah, I feel like you might have caught this one here. This looks like a Luis setup. Nice. No session late sleep. Hope you got some sleep, too. I don't know if you're on right now. All right. Someone said they just posted a new one. Euro USD chart. Where? I don't see your setup. Oh, here it is. Down here? Yeah, that could work. This could definitely work. I'll keep in mind the correlations, but I could see it. Euro is trading up here. And you're looking for Hold on. It's the 1 hour. Let me make sure I see this. How you're seeing this here. Why do I feel like I'm not seeing this the way you're seeing this? It's a 30-minute chart. Oh, I see. You're looking at this over here. Okay. And then this is your zone. I see it. Yeah. Yeah, keep that one in mind. I like it. All right, guys. Good stuff. Excellent markups. I love the interaction, participation here. You know, the patience for opportunities. I'm leaning more and more towards this short on Dow. I think we could have something here. This would be kind of like a shakeout play. So, yeah, great stuff, guys. Appreciate you all for plugging in. As always, if you guys want to, give our stream here a like, subscribe, share it with anybody. If you found some value, if you guys are enjoying the setups and the community of the free resources as well, feel free to share that with anyone that's also an aspiring trader. And then if you guys aren't in the community, just go ahead and scan the code on the left, that QR code there. And then if you're looking for more hands-on growth, a 1-year program to get your trading to a place where you can count on, where you actually have confidence and conviction in your system, and you learn how to remove a lot of the thought processes that don't serve you, the bad habits, the impulsiveness, then scan that code on the right. Anyways, good stuff, guys. Let's end this month strong. So appreciate y'all, and I'll see you again here tomorrow morning. But, of course, we'll be in the school community active all day. Peace out, guys. Until next time.